Okay. First question. Olivia or Amelia? I'm just kidding. That's not the question. That's not the question. The first question is the first. I had to say joke agad. I didn't want to offend you. Okay. First question is. All right. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Anton on One podcast. And for the fourth episode of the radio series, I have a big one. Radio DJ, TV host, courtside reporter, MTV VJ, vlogger, mother to Olivia and Amelia. I am very honored. Legit, I am honored to welcome the Andi Manzano-Reyes to the show. Yeah, Andi, what's up?
What's up? What an intro. Thanks for reading my Wikipedia page.
I really did. I did. I knew kasi with you, like when I first quote unquote met you, before you even met me, it was just radio. And then as I followed your life and became friends with your sister eventually, I saw that there's really a lot of things. Like there's no kind of it's although this is a radio series, it's not fair to say that parang radio, Andy equals radio. Like there's many things. And I want to start with asking you how it is today because I know that Amelia just started her first day at school, and I can
Yeah.
imagine that first days at school is always a tough thing, but then for it to be online, like how did you ever imagine that it was gonna be like this, and like how's that whole experience so far?
What you're talking about distance learning for kids?
Yes, yes.
You know what? It's harder because at her age, wait lang, first of all, thanks for having me. I
Okay.
appreciate your intro. And my sister did say, you're finally doing the interview. I was like, yeah, I'm kind of nervous.
Really? Do you still get
No,
nervous up to
because
now to talk?
yeah, because when you're on radio or when you're the one interviewing, it's always about somebody else, right? But when
Yes.
somebody interviews you, then it's it's your mind, what's in your heart, and it's nerve wracking.
Okay. Okay, I
Yeah,
understand. I
see, look
understand. I
up my
understand.
hands. I am going like this now. No, but anyway, so you're asking about distance learning. I think it's just harder for younger kids because Amelia does not know anything about school also. So when I say school, it's mostly computer or you're in front of your tablet and you're learning all these videos or your teachers online. And sometimes she doesn't, I guess if you're a kid, you don't even know if your teacher's live or if it's actually a YouTube video
Mm,
because to them, like at the age of 2.5, what's
all
the
the same.
difference, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, except for all the activities that they prepare for you. So it's a little bit more challenging. I mean, for the first few weeks she was having a lot of fun. And then today, like I said, it's time for school. Voila. It's like, no. I was like, what? I was like, wait, I just paid for your tuition fee. I mean, there's like, it's an on and off thing. So I'm just trying to keep her,
Uh-huh.
into it. I mean, it's just 30 seconds. It's trying to keep her entertained at the same time. So when
Yeah.
teacher sings, I have to sing beside her. I have to be the teacher on the side and her
Wow.
cheerleader. So it's me basically going back to school. So add mom, add teacher to
Yeah.
the hats of it all.
Yeah, yeah. That's the thing though with distance learning because I also have a cousin with twins. They were babies fine when I last saw them. Pero
Mm.
parang tao na rin sila now. They got older. I would think that distance learning is actually good in a sense that the parents are sort of forced to really physically be there and teach their kids as well. But then you mentioned how it's hard for her. But I just wanted to ask what you think about this. Your daughters don't know what school is, like how we went to school physically. Like, do you think that it's really harder or it's just different from what you and I are used to?
Well, when it comes to Olivia, she knows what school is already,
Okay.
especially that even before lockdown, she went to a big school already. So she was going to go to international school and she was in kinder and she was meeting all these races from around the world.
Uh-huh.
And, it was a big deal for her. And then after like 3 months, shuts down, right? So, and with Amelia naman, she has no idea what school is. So parang there's really nothing to compare it to.
Mhm. This whole generation of kids now, I'm really I was scared at first, but now I'm really more excited to see because I don't think it's gonna mess them up. Like just because I think
Hmm.
it's just a different way society's gonna be run. Like we have our own standards of like, oh, when I was a kid, I was going out, I was getting dirty, I was, physically sweating and stuff. And then now the kids today, they're just always on the screen. But then I feel like that's a negative way of looking at it. Like when you look at it, are you filled with more of like worry, fear, or is it like a wow? Could this actually turn into something better for like, I don't know. It's talking big, but like the human race.
I would want to think it's better. Like, for example, when it comes to Amelia, she doesn't know anything about, what's outside. So everything in her small little room, all her toys, I mean, it's such a big deal. Even just to go outside and pick up flowers and to see butterflies, to her, it's such, it's like what is this? Parang, I,
Oh.
so at that age, you get to appreciate the little details of everything that maybe we don't get to see because we saw so many things already. We
Yeah.
were we were, I don't know, like blinded by
Yeah. I'd say like we were quote unquote spoiled because we had the outside
yes, there,
world
yeah.
every single day. But yeah, nga. Kasi when I compare that to my experiences now, syempre it's not the same as like, oh, I miss playing outside. Like if I in that time here in this pandemic that is still, I don't know what season we're on na. There were sometimes that, oh, you can kind of go out again. So I would have like a lunch with a friend. And that one lunch, it's like more meaningful than like five lunches
Yeah.
combined pre-pandemic. So yeah, I understand. I see that. I'm excited to see like where how else it's gonna hopefully improve, because I think right now halata lang talaga the negative stuff is oh no, paano na their social skills, paano na all these things that we were accustomed to. We're talking about looking forward, the changes, but I want to
Mhm.
backtrack a bit. Actually, backtrack a lot. To your career. So I saw in one of your interviews you said that the first official paycheck you had was this newspaper print ad from Bygone. Do you remember how old you were there?
Yeah, I think I was like 7.
7. Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
So
I was 7.
7-year-old Andy, if you talk to her now, would you like? Do you think she's gonna be? How do you think she'll feel about seeing where you are today? Like, do you think she'll be shocked? Do you think she'll be like, "This is exactly what I wanted," as a 7-year-old when I grow up?
I don't want to be mayabang, but I would probably think that my 7-year-old self would want me to be where I am.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And because when I was 7 years old, I was shy. I didn't have friends, and my self confidence was really like low. And, parang I felt like I was ugly. And I was just I just never thought that I would, do many things in my life. And now that you mentioned everything and reminded me of all that I've done, I'd be like, wow, I'm old. I've done a lot of things pala. Because now I guess like I just, like as you get older, you just keep looking at the future and then you forget to look back and see what you've accomplished, and that all the challenges that you've been through as, you were going through all these things.
Uh-huh. Do you see similar? Are there like same values that you still held on to, like since the bygone newspaper ad?
A lot actually. It's hard to really break it down, but I feel like family has really been like a huge part of all that, because like my mom has really been there to really push me to do, you know to always be better, to always, show kindness, to always, put others first, and all these things. And I mean, for me kasi I'm a people person. I mean, I don't have a lot of friends. So when I go through like my downs in my life, like have I really need my family. So I
Mm-hmm.
feel like parang the values that my parents have, brought me up with, or my sisters with, parang has really been like a wait, it's so hard to explain.
Go on. No, I,
Parang
I see that. I see that with the family. Sorry, let me just quick
go
interrupt you. I see
ahead.
it now. Like when I look at your channel, when I look at the stuff that you post online, it's really your family. And I think baka nga this pandemic has like kind of helped us really just go back to what we really value. One could
Mm-hmm.
think kasi na parang, one could think, I'm not saying I'm thinking it, one could think na Andy just posts about her family. Kasi what else can she post about? She's just home. But at the same time, I'm like, but that's really your values. Eh. As in, I see it even, not just you, like your sisters, like you're really, it's really like a family, it's a family thing. And you're not ashamed to show it. Like I feel like it's the same on camera and off camera.
Because like that's how it really is, and the people, like, I guess, that know us also know how our dynamic is as a family. Like, again, like, we don't have a lot of friends, but our core is our family. And I guess, like, that's what you see. And people now always say, like, why do you keep posting about your kids, or why do you keep posting about family? I'd be like, yeah, but that's kind of like my life, like, diba? Like, what else do you want me to post about? Fashion? I'm not really into fashion. Or you want me to post about food? I mean, I don't really cook, but like, family wise, like, it's everything.
That's your thing. That's your thing. Okay, with the family, when you talk about how families showing their life to the public, showing how they really are, I would say I think this arguably is the most famous family that's like talked about and you see their life would be the Kardashian family. And that would be like the end of the spectrum when it comes to like showing your family.
I do follow them. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's super entertaining.
Uh-huh. Kasi they really show their lives. Eh. And then I guess
uh
your family, because you're not the only vlogger. Like your sisters also post a lot. I know Tita Rose also has an online an online presence. Now, where do you sort of find the balance with like this is really who we are? So we're just showing who we are, but at the same time, like you want to have that privacy then. Eh? You want to kind of separate that professional stuff, online stuff with like things you just keep to yourselves.
Well, for us naman, and I guess a lot of vloggers, I mean, what's good is that you create your content, right? So
Mm-hmm.
whatever goes out, it all depends on you. So there are parts of your life that you don't have to show, like, the fighting, the pikunan, or, when me and Ollie fight. Maybe at times I will, just to show, like, how we manage it. But you can still control the message. You can still control the content. That's why I guess YouTube is fun, because you're
Mm-hmm.
also somehow the producer of it.
Yeah, there's this term. I'm not sure if you heard of it. It's called sharenting. When parents share the lives of their kids, and I see that it's a norm now that people really share the lives of their kids. Where do you find the balance in that, naman? Because if it's with your family who are already like sort of grown ups,
Mm-hmm.
parang they already understand that yung the life before and after this whole online social media craze. Now with your kids, they're much younger, and then they grew up when they were born, that's already the norm, the social media. Where do you find that balance in sharing about your kids' life and again about keeping things private?
I know a lot of single people watch your show, and I'm gonna tell you, once you become a parent and you have your kid, day one pa lang, I mean, your phone will be filled up, and you wouldn't even know what to post because you have so much photos.
Oh,
So
okay,
when that
okay,
day comes, let me get back to me.
okay, okay. Um,
No, because parang, of course, for me, I want to think of like social media as like my own online space, right?
mhm,
So whatever I want to share, I can share. But if you're saying, like, what how do I balance it all? I think with Olivia, especially now that she's getting older, sometimes she would be like, "Mom, don't put that in the vlog." Meron na siyang ganyan eh. Because I guess she's so sanay to watch
uh-huh.
herself on TV, and she enjoys it. So when she sees, like, "Mom, why did you put that when I was crying?" Or why did you show this when I was fighting with Amelia? So now meron na siyang ganyan eh. She's more aware.
Okay.
So a lot of times when I post a vlog or when I post something online, I have to make paalam.
Oh, okay. What age is
Yeah,
that?
I have to make paalam na. Well, she's now 6. And then
Mhm.
sometimes she'd take a photo of herself. She'd go like that. She'll take her own selfie. And then she'd be like, "Here, Mom, I look so pretty. you can post it. I'd be like, huh? Meron
Okay.
na siyang ganon. So I'd see her phone. I mean, sometimes I'd see my phone and it's all her photos. And then, yeah, so I guess at that age, they're more aware that, that there is social media
Yeah.
and, that she has an Instagram account. And sometimes I'd, um, I'd scroll through her Instagram. Actually, recently, lang, mga 6 months ago, I'd be like, Ollie, look, you have an Instagram account. What? I do? I'd be like, yeah, see, look at all your photos. I'd be like, oh my gosh. So she remembers all these photos that I took.
Wow. This
Imagine.
is the upgraded version of like our parents would keep baby books of us. Do you
Yeah.
do you hope would you hope that you had an Instagram account then as a baby, as a kid growing up?
Ah, no. But I hope that I had digital photos that I could keep.
Yeah. Just for the memories, no. And like I would
Just for
want to
the
see,
memories.
yeah, how did 3-year-old me sound? Like just normal. That's what I'm
Mm-hmm.
wanting. Like now that I do a podcast, like I want to know like how was I talking 20 years ago?
Mm.
How did all those things look like? But it's interesting, ah.
Yeah, my dad nga made kwento one day. He goes like, you know what, Andy, when you were small, we had a video recorder that I would try to practice and introduce music videos.
Oh, how old are you then?
Yeah, I was like mga 8 or 9.
Okay,
And
wow.
he said that he still had those recordings and he just had to put it in a CD. But he remembers all these things and he was just going through it. And he goes like, he used to practice and he used to do, he used to introduce like Backstreet Boys and make it like the
Wow.
countdown. So imagine if I had access to all those videos.
Yeah.
I could look back and I'd be like,
Yeah.
that was
That
me.
that could have been your audition na to MTV. You just send those. Which brings me to my next topic. With that naman, so you entered Magic when you were 18 or 17?
I think I was like 17. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And then you went to join MTV like a year or two later, which
Mm-hmm.
if I think about it, like no, normal, quote unquote normally. Sorry. Maybe I shouldn't use the word normally because that means you're not normal, which isn't the case. Um People start looking for the jobs like 20s na, diba? Like when you graduate college, ganon. Or usually people get married 27, 28. But I don't know, maybe in your DNA, no, like you like doing things early. So you started working when you were college pa lang. Was that your conscious decision to have that job in radio, or did your mom play a role? Like how did you at that early age? Why did you start working already?
I actually started working earlier because I would do commercials and
Oh, okay.
I was also part of Ang TV too.
Uh-huh. Sorry, I'm not sure. Can you
um
let me know what was
that's
Ang
okay.
TV2?
No, Ang TV 2 was a noontime TV show for kids. So
Okay.
it's like yung 4:30 na ang TV na and you would make all these jokes. So before wala pang Netflix or
Mm-mm.
YouTube where you could control what you're watching. But this one, kids would go home from school and
That's all they
watch
can
Ang
watch.
TV 2. Yeah.
Okay.
And so I was part of that. I was part of AngTV too, and I did that for maybe about a year. And when I started earning and having my own bank account where I could actually
Ooh.
afford to buy the things, the shoes that I wanted, the jelly shoes that were so uso before, and I could buy it. Parang it it made me want to work more,
Uh-huh.
because there was, because I wanted more stuff, I guess, when I was young. So I started doing commercials and then um, print ads also, and then sometimes I would even guest on like TV shows. But I said,
Mm-mm.
acting is totally not for me. So one day, I was my manager actually met up with our my uh with Magic's boss and
Mm-hmm.
asked me if I wanted to try to do radio. And I was like, yeah, but I don't really speak so well. I mean, I know English, but I don't have the radio voice or
Yeah,
how
it's a
they,
skill
you
pa. Yeah.
know, it's a skill, diba? Like
Mm-hmm.
how they enunciate or they pronounce words. Sometimes I get bulol, blah, blah, blah,
Mm-hmm.
blah. But he said, you know what, try it out. So I tried it out. I was still like, I think I was in like incoming college pa ata or something.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I tried it out and then yeah, it was scary.
I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm seeing some similarities. So like how you are with your kids now. It's sort of just it's part of life that you have work
Mm-hmm.
already. Even at it's not like it's not you don't need to wait to graduate till you start, making your own money. And that was the same case for you since you already started doing commercials, you were already hosting. Is so it didn't feel like an alien thing. It didn't feel like did you feel sorry, better way of question is did you feel different from your classmates who were just studying?
Very much, because
Uh-huh.
at that time also, like, my classmates, a lot of my classmates were spoiled, and a lot of things were just given to them.
Mm-hmm.
Me, my parents stopped giving me baon because I was earning already.
Oh, even allowance.
Yeah, so I
Oh,
was earning
okay.
already, so my baon was what I would make. And I guess my mom wanted to teach me also how to, you can't just buy everything. You have to learn how to manage your money.
Mm-hmm.
And later on in life, I started paying for my tuition fee. I started paying also, yeah, and then that's where, it just evolved, I guess. So
Uh-huh.
learning the value of money at a very young age, and I guess earning also at a very young age, teaches you so much.
Yeah. You didn't feel like na kulangan ka naman ng childhood because if you are though okay, in the household that I was raised, it was like up until college sagot ka namin. So tuition, 'di ba? Allowance. Tas if you have any stuff out as long as you keep your studies in check, 'di ba? Sa'yo na yung pera na yun. But then in yours, did you feel that since there was that responsibility that you got at an earlier age, did you feel like sometimes natamad na parang medyo mahirap, parang hassle na nga yung school and then I have to work pa and earn my own money?
No, because I loved what I was doing. And it was not really work for me. It was just something I enjoyed, and I was getting paid for it. Diba?
Okay. So it's important that you enjoyed it. Like if it was a different type, it depends on the type of work din kasi, no?
Yeah. Well, it depends also how much they paid. So
That always helps. That always helps. So going back now, when you entered Magic, so you're around 18 years old, and you said that this wasn't like you weren't super confident. It wasn't like yeah, I'm gonna go to radio because this is what I do. I talk. I'm good at interviewing, conversations. Where did you find that confidence to quote unquote deserve that spot? Because you got the usually in radio when you start, but you get like the graveyard shift, aka but at the time when no one's really listening. But you went straight to the I think a 9 a.m. slot. So it wasn't the show kasi is the earlier one, yung mga around 6 7 a.m. where people really are commuting to work and school. But that's still a pretty major slot, and there's still a huge pressure to that. Where'd you find that confidence to like learn on the fly and just do it, even if that wasn't initially parang what you super wanted to do?
Mhm. Actually, I did 6 to 9. That was my first
Oh,
show
6 to 9 a.m.
on radio.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yun pala.
I was with Mo and Mojo at that time, and
Mhm.
I guess,
A
and
classic, I
it's so,
must say. A classic. Yeah,
yeah.
my brothers and I loved your show.
And it's very different because the audience of their show was very mature also,
Mm-hmm.
and they would talk about bastos things and political things, and their callers would sometimes, it was okay to bash you on air. So
Okay.
for me, coming from a very parang sheltered family, to be suddenly exposed to all these things,
Mm-hmm.
it parang, I was in shock for like the first few days or few months pa. And when I would make a mistake on air, people would be like, "Oh, haha, parang mali yung sinabi niya," or "I don't agree with you." And parang for me to go to attack me was, I, and at a very young age where I kind of didn't know who I was
Yeah, no
yet,
one knows
diba?
who they are at 18.
Yeah, at 18, and as people attack you, I had a lot of times when it was on air, and I would cry and I would feel bad and I would come home. But I feel like that's one of the reasons why I also learned to find who I was, and be confident in who you are as a person, no matter what people say shit about you, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever comes your way. But yeah, it's like I really grew up on radio, and I feel like, um And there was also a lot of training involved. My station manager would say, why don't you just practice reading? So every day I would come to radio at like 5 o'clock, and I would go through the news in Yahoo News, and I would read everything just
Aloud.
to loud. And he would, yeah, I would read it loud and practice, because parang my job before, and they would always tease me about it, was doing the news, and I hated doing the news.
Uh-huh. Wait, what
Because
what
I
is it?
never.
What is because it's boring? Because
Hmm?
it's
No, because like I was really bad at it also. So
okay.
it was a balance of it being funny and it being informative, and I just hated
Mm,
doing it.
okay, it's a challenge.
Yeah. So now going back to your question, which I don't remember.
Ah, what was it? Where'd you find? And well, I guess you can find the confidence. I was asking, say, where do you find the confidence with a
Mm-mm,
job that you didn't know? Well, yeah, you saying that you trained and you practiced. I think that's what
mm-mm,
with any skill, naman, with any new skill that you learn, you get the confidence with getting better at that thing. And with your show, I would say that there have been a lot of jocks that we've heard growing up, but for some reason, I this isn't because Angel is your sister and we're friends, but you really are one of the jocks that we grew up with. When you look at your career, when you look at least just the radio part of your career, I would say that was a successful run. You even came back. You had that mom show, and
mm-hmm.
people still knew you. When you look back at that, what do you think caused the success? Like, why do you think it was so successful?
Hmm. I think at that time also, there was not a lot of talk shows, you know.
Okay.
So a lot of people were used to the traditional radio of, introducing a song and sounding a specific way. But
Mm-hmm.
I guess Magic also introduced, was one of the stations that introduced of Magic was one of the stations that see, it can be a newscaster.
Oo nga, for someone that
Bleh.
did so long on the radio. No, sorry, go on. That happens to all of us.
No, so I feel like Magic was one of the first ones to have really a talk show and make a personality out of a radio DJ.
Mm-hmm.
So they were really promoting their DJs, like, and it felt like you really knew who they were, their character on air.
Yeah.
So I
Would
felt like that helped with the success.
would you say that you sort kasi diba 18 years old, that's when you're still really in the process of figuring out who you are. Like, what role did radio, your time on air, how much did that play how much did that play to you figuring out who is Andy?
Let me get back to you in 1 hour. No, that's a deep
Sorry,
question.
loaded ba? If it didn't, edi okay lang. It didn't play a role.
No, it did a lot. Because I guess those are also the years that you're also trying to figure out what you really want to do and who you
Mhm.
really want to be. Diba? I was in radio for almost 10 years of my life. And, that 10 years was also me growing up, becoming a teenager to becoming a real adult in this world. And radio also helped me, what's nice kasi with radio, and what I really enjoyed with it is it's like social media. It's your own
Mhm.
it's your own on air space where you can say anything you want, and you
You have
can
that
talk about
freedom. Mm-mm.
anything you want, right? You
Yeah.
don't have a script, unless of course it's a commercial or anything, but you have the freedom to just be who you are.
Oh. So that's would you say that's your favorite thing about radio?
Yeah, that's my favorite thing about radio, and that's also my favorite thing about vlogging. Like,
Yes, there
you
there
can
you go.
just,
That's the
yeah,
connection. Okay.
yeah.
Kasi with media, with the path that you talked about, this industry, if you host, if you do commercials, there isn't that straight line that's very clear and evident for mga corporate jobs. Like, if you say that in corporate, oh, I do marketing, like everybody kind of gets, oh, you can do marketing for different companies, you can do different aspects of marketing. But now what I'm learning, so in radio, you loved having that freedom of, this is my space, diba? If you listen to this station at this time, you're gonna hear what goes on in my brain.
Yeah.
And now in social
And
media, Yeah, sorry, go on.
It's also the same. And I remember my boss when because after the morning show, I did the afternoon show with Jessica, which was the 3 to 6 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying, okay, I'm going to give you guys the time of Joey and Miles. And Joey and Miles have been on air for the longest time.
Okay.
And they were like, the radio gods. And all of a sudden, my boss goes like, okay, we're going to give you this slot because they're retiring. What are you guys going to do with 3 to 6? And we were, what, 20 years old? And we were saying, well, can you help us, think of what we can do? And he goes like, no, that's yours. I'll help you, but you create your content. You make your segments, you make your program. How's your show going to be? How's it going to feel? What are you guys going to be called? So
Wow.
basically from everything, like from planning it out, from being, the whole production behind it all. I think
Mm-hmm.
that was where radio was fun.
Oh, okay. With that creating your own programs, like, do you ever miss it? Like that aspect
Oh
of
yeah.
radio, Tina. And is it here through your vlogs? Because when I look at your vlogs, also it's very regular. That's one which I find I I have a challenge with a weekly podcast with another person. So that's one of my cheat codes. Then, do you have another guest? You talk about that person. Like it's kind of easier to plan those things. But for your
Mm-hmm.
vlogs, it's really like you really plan it. You really like the Boracay trip, diba? It had a lot of It's like so many aspects. Usually, if it's Boracay, here it is. This is the trip. But you really like you specify it. Like you really like categorize the different activities in your
Mm-mm.
life.
Yeah, that's why I guess now lang I'm just actually like connecting it, and maybe that's why I really enjoy vlogging as well. It's because you get to do all the things that I did on radio. Diba?
Uh-huh.
It doesn't feel like a TV where you have a script. Okay, this is what you do. This is your call time. Here, if I feel like vlogging, I'm just gonna get my camera and be like, kids, okay, we're gonna vlog today. Let's do it.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so where you're like the a big chunk of your career time now, vlogging. So you're showing your life. You're showing your vacation. I saw the videos with your mom. Do you still does it feel like a cheat code sometimes? Because I don't know if you grew up with the okay, example, let's say commercial when you do commercials, when you host events, there's that work to get money to be able to do my profession. I have to do this work which is kind of tiring, which is it's not exactly all 100% fun. And if there was I don't think, I mean, if the commercials didn't pay, you wouldn't do the commercials. But then with your vlogs, you'd still go on your trips, you'd still have those, you'd still play with your kids. Does it feel like a cheat code that you are earning from basically living your life?
I think that's a bonus. And
Uh-huh.
you might think that I earn a lot on YouTube. I actually don't.
Okay, okay. But
I
okay,
don't
yeah,
earn
directly from
yes.
YouTube. Mm-mm.
So if you're saying it's a cheat code, actually it's a blessing in disguise, because when I quit radio, I was thinking, what am I gonna do next? I thought I was just gonna be a mom, a stay-at-home mom working, and I was just in my dream, I was just thinking of, starting a business. And I thought like my career was over because I quit radio, which was,
Mm-mm.
like in my blood. So I said, you know what? Okay, I'll try to start vlogging since I actually enjoy doing it. I edit my vlogs, and to me it was just fun. So I did it because not to earn money, but just to document all, like how it is having a kid, how my kid grew
Yeah,
up, and eventually it just blossomed into another whole career.
yeah. So there's no monetary incentive. Are you telling me that when you start vlogging, yeah, I start vlogging because it's fun. But you've been vlogging for a while now. Right now, when you vlog, is it still mainly because that's what you like doing, whether or not you're gonna get paid?
You know what? There, it depends. Actually, no. How do I say this? You actually,
Because like for example, like now what I'm doing, I just started my podcast, this podcast a year ago, and I'm not earning from it, but I do hope now, like one day, like because one of
mm-hmm,
my idols is Joe Rogan, and that guy, like
Yeah.
he's already reached a point where you're sure that the podcast earns money, but he already has that freedom to do whatever he wants, which I have right now, but it's on the other side. Like I haven't achieved that Joe Rogan status that parang okay, you have the right not to do whatever you want. So I'm thinking like, do I need to wait for someone to give me that right? And should that just be my focus now that um it's really just because it's what I like doing? So how I would compare like me having a podcast to you having your vlog, and I want to know, like I want to get to dissect more. What's the motivation behind something so that's a huge commitment, and it's so regular that you have to just keep putting out content again and again.
Actually, what I've, especially in this season, like of my life and this whole pandemic, um, parang one thing that I've been really battling in my head and in my thoughts is the pressure to create something,
Uh-huh.
the pressure to always make content. And there was a time, I think it was last year, where I would always, release vlogs weekly. Sometimes it's two, sometimes one, sometimes if I'm matiyaga, I'll do three. And it was continuous and I was having fun. And then all of a sudden I was like, not fun anymore. I'm getting tired and like I have
Uh-huh.
to do this. And it felt like a chore. I mean, parang I don't want to say na how do I say this? I don't want to sound like I only do this for fun. But of course, everybody somehow wishes that, their vlogs are sponsored. Of course, we want to attain, we want to
Yeah.
earn something from what we enjoy doing. And that's
Yeah.
really the goal in life, diba? So for me, like I said, like the pressure for me right now is, like, why are you doing what you're doing? Diba? Why do you do this? What, what's, what what's your motivation, or what do you want to tell people? And I always ask myself, I feel like, I always tell myself, like, you're given this space, you're given followers, you're given YouTube, and to create content, and that gift, like what do you want to share about? What do you want to share with people? What do you want to tell them? Parang for me, that's now in my mind, and that's been kind of haunting me, like parang what's your purpose for doing all
Uh-huh.
these things, right? Because sometimes you can really get lost with, looking at other people's account or YouTubes or podcasts,
Comparing.
and be,
Mm.
yeah, and compare yourself with all these people. And then you really have to go back to yourself and ask yourself these, simple questions that we ignore sometimes.
Yeah. Would you say that you've gotten to answer that question for yourself?
Yeah, slowly.
Uh-huh. How would that answer look like when you ask yourself, why am I doing what I'm doing? What am I trying to say?
Okay, so let me check my notebook.
Yeah.
No.
It's okay. Take your time. Take your
No,
time with this. It's fine.
like it I don't really have the answers to it all, but every
Uh-huh.
time I make something and I try to create something, I'd be like, okay, this vlog, I wanna send out a message that, that not it's not always perfect, diba, when it comes to parenting, or it's not always perfect when you go to school, and sometimes parang maybe people will portray like a perfect image on Instagram or in their
Mm-hmm.
vlogs, but this is like behind the scenes, this is how it really is in
Really
real life.
is.
I feel like I just want to show more of like the real life. I want to show that, if
Gets.
I'm going through something, I want you to know, because I'm also still a person
Yeah.
going through what you're probably going through.
Okay, so you like to keep it real.
Yeah, like maybe like become human, show more
Yeah.
of your human self. If you
Yes.
want to show emotions, don't be afraid to show emotion. I feel like that's where I'm going. And like, and again, maybe there if this content will not get a lot of views, but it makes me really happy, like I'm gonna post it
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
Parang just to really release the pressure of trying to gain followers, or the pressure of like the views or
Uh-huh. And
earning out of it.
speaking of pressure and like releasing that, not having that pressure and things, when I talk about when I think of career, when I think of professional work, it's only professional work because when there's a monetary value attached. Like if I'm if I'm talking to my friend on Zoom, I'm talking to my friend on Zoom. But if I'm talking to my friend on Zoom and it's gonna be an episode and then there's a sponsor, ganyan, it becomes work already. And there's that monetary aspect and there's that pressure. I wanted to ask, when you got married, was that pressure sort of relieved? Like, did it? Was it still one of those like, okay, if it's work stuff, there's this monetary aspect to it. Like when you got married, and it's normal in our society that the mom's gonna leave that full-time job. She like the pressure of earning isn't on the wife masyado. Did you go through that same experience?
Actually, no. Did I go through the pressure that
Sorry, did you
the
have that like
sorry
pressure
again?
was released to earn? Like when you got married, was it like, oh, hey,
Ah,
I'm
okay.
good?
Yeah. No, because you know what? I started earning now when I was younger, and
Uh-huh.
I feel up to now, like I feel like if I don't earn anything,
It's a
I
part
can't
of
spend
you.
anything. It's a part
Oh,
of
okay.
me.
You
So
don't sorry, you don't feel like husband's money is my money as well.
no.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, and me and GP have this, like of course every relationship has different views when it comes to money, but
Yeah.
like when GP wants to buy something, he spends his own money. Like when I want to buy something, I spend my own money because I do have my savings and he has
Mm-hmm.
his savings, and we have like a joint bank account that's for the kids and for our daily needs.
But you
So
still have
we
your
still have,
own.
yeah.
Oh, okay. I think my parents have one lang eh. I do they have? I don't know. But
See,
yung kasi it's different. Different styles ka. My parents
it's
are very ano
different,
eh.
diba?
One. We are one. Even our money is one. Wow. Okay.
I guess it depends because GP also he started earning when he was young,
Mm-hmm.
so more it's like it's not like we don't want to share. It's like this is my money, it's my money. No, but like we have a joint account where we say, okay, we're gonna put this amount and we'll put it both together, like the same
Okay.
amount where we can
Okay.
share in the family fund, ganyan.
Yeah.
But anything, if he wants to buy a car, I'd be like, yeah, but you use your money.
Yeah, yeah. And okay, we still have money for the kids. But may ano
Yeah.
naman, may ganun on responsibility. Okay. Sorry I'm asking a lot about this. Kasi I noticed from listening to you on air before, and then when you got married and when you became a mom, there was really that brand shift eh. It was really, 'di ba? Like it's hard to talk about Andy without talking about the kids, talking about the family life. Like that's really in your branding. So I'm questioning, like, was there something that just changed, or that's really just how your life has progressed? Like, okay, my next question is, when you were starting your career, you graduated, do you think that you'd be doing the same things whether or not you got married? Like, do you think that you'd be in vlogging now? Do you think that you'd be doing this type of work now? Or do you think that because you got married, because and then you had kids, parang you were put on that different path?
Yeah, I feel like if I did not get married earlier, I feel like I would be a news anchor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I feel like, or like maybe that's the path that I want to take.
Uh-huh.
Someone who's on e-news talking about, like, I don't know, like, entertainment,
Gets,
or
gets.
doing something about that,
Like a
or
female Ryan Seacrest.
kind of like that.
Uh-huh. When I talk to different people about their careers, when I talk to them about their success, I've been starting to see this pattern that they never really planned to be where they are. Although I feel like it's a little different in your case, kasi parang that was the plan, and it turned out how things happen. Do you think, my question is, do you think that those things are predetermined, and parang there was already a set path and then you just had to live your life, or diba, or do you think it's a coincidence? Do you think it's really you who made you end up where you ended up today?
You know what? I was thinking about it, the other day. I said, the time that I quit radio and I got married and had my first kid, that's when Spotify came out.
Wow. So sakto.
I said, oh, wow, okay. So now there's online streaming and you can listen to any music you want to hear, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then later on, Instagram came in. And that's when I started posting about Olivia. And that's why they say Olivia's like the Instagram, the OG Instagram baby,
Yeah,
because
yes, she is.
right?
I don't know if, again, I don't know, because since diba, Angel's in what I see in my social media, she's the baby I see the most. But yeah, like even with people, like with my other batches, other people, they share a lot of. I've seen a lot of Olivia content, not through you or Angel.
And so that's why, like, when Olivia was a baby, Instagram was there, and she
Mhm.
kind of grew up on Instagram,
Yeah.
and parang it just, I don't know if it was a coincidence, or maybe just making the right small choices that would lead to bigger things. I don't know.
Yeah. You just kind of just went on the ride.
Yeah.
Wow. I wanted to ask about with Olivia being like the first Instagram baby. Did you did you feel like you had any rivals? Like were there other, I don't follow, sorry, I don't really follow baby content also. Like I don't wala naman akong plans anytime soon. Were there other like babies na para, oh, this person has a lot of following also?
Actually, before, it was Scarlett Snow, diba?
Oh,
And
okay.
Olivia. And I mean, I love Scarlett. I follow her. I've seen her
Mm-hmm.
also grow up. So parang people are saying they're the OG IG
Babies.
babies. Yeah.
Wow. Have you guys
Silang
done a
dalawa.
collab or anything?
Not yet. I've actually never met her.
Okay, they're not, sorry. We just assume that these two babies are famous. They're probably friends. Hindi ba? Hindi
Yeah.
ba?
No, no. But I
Okay.
would love to meet her. I was
Yeah.
telling my friends, I was like, imagine if Scarlett Snow and Ollie met. That would be awesome.
Wow. Hey, let's put it out there in the universe. Hopefully that's gonna, I would wanna see. But maybe what you can do is just leave them in the room and just record, and not like, don't plan anything, don't set up an activity, don't bring any toys.
Imagine what they'll talk about. Or even when they're older, like imagine them in like 5 years, and they'd be like,
Yeah.
look,
Yeah.
our baby pictures to how, like, until we were 10
Yeah, yeah.
are
Or
all
baka it's
up.
gonna be ano, baka it could be like, oh my gosh, that experience is so tough growing up. My mom always had the camera on me. Di naman gano'n, di naman gano'n. Okay,
I'm sure she'd say that though.
but they're happy naman with it, no? Like your kids, they also enjoy. Do you feel like they enjoy
Yeah,
vlogging as much as you?
I think they do, because a lot of times, like, now that we've been vlogging less, parang they just be like, Mom, take my video. I want
Mm-mm.
to
Yeah,
read a
yeah, right.
book. Meron ng ganon eh, na parang, I guess they got sanay na with it. Like, Mom,
Yeah,
take my video so we can add
yeah.
this to the vlog. Take my
Wow.
picture. Yeah.
So when
And,
I go ahead.
like, what really works if you're a mom and you want to start vlogging is, having your child really look at your phone or your camera where they can actually see themselves. So,
Mm,
so
okay.
when they see themselves, it's just like a reflection of them talking to themselves.
Yeah. I think when I had a lot of, because we were talking about this earlier, no, na I had a lot of those questions like, how is this new generation gonna be? How are they gonna act differently? I think follow your kids, and I think that's like a nice example then of like, okay, if there's a kid who grew up with social media and that was the norm already, how are they gonna turn out? Wow, that just gained you some more. That gained you 5 new followers. That joke lang. Okay, I wanna
Thank you.
ask. That's not gonna do much. I wanna ask about you had one of your, I think it was a Q&A video, and then you talked about, like, this is the last thing I want to ask, and then we're gonna have one quick game, and then we're good. Um, about being content with life, and then you were asked if you were content with life, and you said you were, but it's more of like a state of mind thing. When you think, say, of someone who is content with life, and you talk to a mother, parang it's so ano na, it's so, of course that mom's gonna say she's content with life because she has kids, and that would be really sad. It would be really sad if there's a mom who has kids and she's like, I don't like my life. But is it that simple? Parang again, is it like a cheat code na basta you're a mom and then you're gonna have kids, you're just gonna be so grateful with life. Like talking to my mom also, she's like that. I'm not gonna go through that. Hopefully I have kids, but it's not the same as like I'm a mother and you came out of me. Talaga eh.
Yeah.
How is that? What makes you say you're content with life?
It's actually hard to say that you're content with your life, because as a mom, especially if you're a new mom, there's just so many sacrifices that you have to to do.
Uh-huh.
Like, pause your life for your kids. And, like, for example, di ba you have okay, go.
Okay, sorry. Sorry. Wow, it's nice. You can tell when I have a thought. With the when you said pause your life, I looked at the pandemic also. When the pandemic, sorry, I'm comparing your kids to the
Go,
pandemic.
go lang.
When the pandemic, because I mean, okay, the similarities are it's this big thing that's gonna shake up your world, and you have nothing to do but to attend to that. When the pandemic happened, I thought I could pause my life. And be, okay, wala mo ng live events, hindi mo na ako makaka-party, hindi ko pa makikita yung friends ko. Muna, like, then I'll resume. When the pandemic's over, I'll
Mm-hmm.
resume and get back to those things I previously had. When you have kids, I don't think you can pause your life, right? Kasi, well, I guess it's like a stop then because you can't resume back to life without kids. Like, you're never gonna go back to
Mm-hmm.
the Andy before she was a mother. So, yeah, that was my thought. What do you mean by pause your life?
Yun nga, like you were saying, like you can't party, you can't see your friends a lot.
Uh-huh.
It's like that when you have kids, diba? You can't go out a lot because you have to take care of your kids. You can't see your friends because you have so many responsibilities in your
Yeah.
life. So it's really like when you become a mom or if you become a parent and especially I know a lot of moms they quit their jobs, diba?
Mm-mm.
And become a full-time mom or
My mom did
work,
that thing too.
yeah, work from home, which is, thank God for internet
Yeah.
that we can do all these. But yeah, you pause your life for your kids. So, and this is where thoughts come in when you're a mom or, when you're at that stage in your life now. How about my dreams? Like,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to do this. I want to do more. I want to achieve all these things. And you're like, okay, maybe later on when they're older. So you really have to pause your life. And, you know, I feel like, of course, for me as a woman, not as a mother, like I do have dreams, but I have to put that aside and maybe fulfill like, tidbits of that slowly
Mm-hmm.
as they grow up also. So being content with where I am, it really is like a state of mind where you have to say now, okay, this is in this stage of my life I'm a mom, and I want to be a mom because this is where I chose to be.
Yeah.
Maybe later on I'll be a business owner or I'll do more things, but right now this is where I am. I'm content with what I have
Yeah.
and I just want to do, all, do everything 100% and just be there and be present.
Uh-huh. So it's really like the grass is greener where you water it, like where you are and where you water it. You mentioned dreams? Do you have like what are there any clear dreams? I know that you wanted to also you took up fashion, is that right? You studied
I took up
design. No, sorry. I meant
communication arts.
yeah, no, but I meant sorry. You took up a course in sofa. Is it sofa or
Sofa,
Sophia? Yeah,
yes.
sofa to be a
Sofa.
fashion designer. Is that are those one of the
To
dreams?
actually to be an interior designer.
Interior designer. Okay, sorry.
Well, I wanted to be before, but it was just like it was just for fun.
Ah,
But I
okay.
do have a lot of dreams. I mean, parang it just sometimes you push it back. Sometimes you just remember it all of a sudden, like when you start writing everything that you want to do in the next 10 years.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Would you say that you'll are you confident that you're gonna go back to those dreams when you maybe not kahit not just the interior designer one. You said nga, diba, as a woman, before you become a mom, you have to
Mm-mm.
put some stuff on pause and then wait till the kids get kind of older. But then I don't know, in that time, your dreams can change. Maybe you have a different understanding of your dreams. Maybe like you get to live your dreams vicariously through your kids. Like, are there any of those dreams that you're confident that I'm gonna go back to this for sure when the kids get older?
To be honest, no.
Okay, does that scare you?
Because um no, because I know that, you know, like I know that I'll be okay,
Mhm.
whatever it is.
You like what you
And
do regardless.
yeah, and I guess like I want to have faith that they're like that things will be even better than my dreams, or the things that I planned for myself because like now that we're talking about what I've done in the past,
Mm-hmm.
and where I've been through, parang I never, if you ask my 7-year-old me, I would never think that I would do all these things, diba? Who would have thought that 7-year-old Annie would be a radio DJ or an MTV VJ or have like
Yeah.
2 kids, diba? Or get married early. So like as much as I want to think about the future, I don't want to worry about it, you know. So I just
Mm,
want to have faith that, you know, if like God has been so faithful in my life and I feel like, you know, he's just gonna show himself more in the future.
yeah. With that state of being content in life, although it's hard, um I wanna re-ask that question because parang something changes with women when they become a mom. There is some magic. I really think there's some magic. You just suddenly become this loving, di ba? Igaw ng
Yeah.
tahanan. Kasi our kwento is my mom, two I have two older brothers.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was in the womb, they wanted me to be a girl, but they didn't check. They didn't do the. My mom wanted to be surprised. When I came out as a boy, like you'd imagine, someone who's planning to get a girl gets a boy. Di ba? They'll be like, ay, hindi babae. But my mom said that she really, although of course she has to say these things, that she really wanted me. I'm a guy. If God said, oh, my mom's name's Rosen, by the way. If God said, oh,
Mm-hmm.
Rose, ito pala yung anak mo, babae dapat. She'd be like, she was telling me na she'd say no, she wants this one na. So that's magic. Because there's no logic to that. Like, how come you're totally fine with that? So outside of the magicness of the that you just suddenly have this different outlook on life, like what do you consciously do to be content with your life? I think that takes a lot of steps. Like it's not just I just wake up, I'm content with life. Like it that takes hard work also. So do you have any like concrete stuff outside that mother magic?
A lot. I take a lot of time to think.
Mm-hmm.
I write down my thoughts, even if it's, you know, even if it frustrates me. And I feel like you have to really dig in what's in your mind, you know, and really get to know yourself because sometimes you can just live life, you know, and wing it. But for me, like I think one thing that really helped is you know, spending time alone, thinking, reflecting. I know I say this in a lot of my interviews, but it really does help me.
Yeah.
Because imagine if I just keep working and working and working and doing everything for everybody and you know, just keep giving and all of a sudden like I, I'll just break down. I'll just like, you know, like
Explode.
probably like
Yeah.
explode. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would explode. So I really have to take the time to think about everything um, that I'm doing. Again, goes back to why am I doing this?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like even sometimes I get so frustrated with the kids, and I'd be like, Lord, or like, why? You know, why are my kids like
Mm-hmm.
this? And then I'd go back to, you know, like, okay, I have, you know, let's you know the reason for it all, and I know it's super cliche and I'm trying to not make it cliche for you.
Yeah. But you know what, cliche? I think cliches are okay. Like there are times cliches are okay because that's the reason why they're cliche. Because those are some universal truths
Mm,
that everybody just applies and agrees to. Going back to what you said about thoughts, that's really nice. As in you take a lot of time to reflect and think. Because I compare it to people love taking pictures of things they don't want to forget. Like when I'm out with my friends, when we go on a trip, we make sure we take pictures because we want to remember it. But that's with other people. You're taking pictures of other things. But I think thoughts are actually the most, I don't know, effective way of being able to see who you are at that moment. Like if you look back at the journal of yourself 10 years ago, like that's as honest as you can get to whoever that version of yourself was during that time. I'm sorry, I'm gonna take a quick water break.
go lang. No, but it's really true. Like um writing like your thoughts kasi, I mean, I think that's the first battleground or decision making in everything that you do, right? Like like for example,
Yes.
like when me and my husband, like, you know, especially this pandemic, you're always together. Sometimes you get pikon, diba?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I'd be like, I'm not gonna cook him dinner. You know, in my head. It
Okay.
pops and I'd be like, yeah, but that's not right. Parang you still have that responsibility of being a good wife. She's like, yeah, but he's just so annoying. Like the thoughts in my
Wow.
mind. Yeah. And I'd
So
be
there's
like,
a
yeah,
radio
but you don't.
station in your head.
Yes, yes. And
Okay.
like there's like a good and evil part na, yeah, but basta, it's just really all in your thoughts, battling it in your mind because that's really where everything that happens in your life comes from, diba?
Yeah.
Parang you can choose to love,
Wow.
you can choose to be kinder, you can
Hmm.
choose to be a better person in any shallow situation,
Yeah.
bigger small,
Yeah. Last thing. Okay, I keep saying last thing, Manas, but I think this will be the last thing I ask about this. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's too personal, but because there's a radio station in your head. Like, have you when you have those? I think you're someone, especially in the pandemic, you've had a lot of time to, so you're used to hearing your thoughts. You're used to like having
Mhm.
that conversation in your head. That's something I'm still getting used to now. I started journaling religiously just this year, so it's still new to me. Do you have characters? Like, do you like how does the conversation in your head go? Like, is there usually just you thinking, like acknowledging your feelings, or is it like a this person versus the other? Like, how does that conversation? Who are the
Oh my
DJs in?
goodness. A
Um,
lot. There's like the really matapang one. There's one that's super aggressive. There's
okay,
one that's like, call me a shit dog.
uh-huh.
There's one that kind of controls my emotions. So parang it's just a mixture that there's just so many like voices in my head. And I
Yeah.
just have to listen to the one that really does make sense and the one that I really want to listen to,
Okay, so
you know.
there's not one voice where you're like, oh, this is the one I listen to. This is the one who gets
No,
it.
no, no, no. Like especially if you're a girl and you're me,
Really?
I'm very emotional and I can be driven by emotion. So sometimes, like even when me and my sisters fight, I'd be
Yeah.
like, why don't you call me? You don't, parang, don't you care? Things like that. And I was like that before. I was very needy. And then all of a sudden I'd be like, I should not be that person. I should, be an ate rather than someone who's like, why you not making me pencil?
Oh, what's that? Was it when you got? Was this also like when you got married? I know this. I know that Angel would like visit you a lot, even if you live far.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, I used to think, wow, that's so sweet of Angel, naman. Like she really visits her. You also wanted her taga kasi to come.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Oh,
Yes.
that's cute. That's sweet. Okay. Um, I feel like now finally, here we go. We can go to our game. All right.
Okay, go.
To end this episode. Okay, so I've been playing this with all my guests. If Tito Boy has fast talk, I have FausTalk. So again,
Mm.
it's the same stuff. Answer whatever comes in your head, however you understand the question. And yeah. Oh, but I like to ask for some explanation for some of these.
Okay.
Okay. First question. Olivia or Amelia? I'm just kidding. That's not the question. That's not the question. The first question is the first. I had to say joke agad. I didn't want to offend you. Okay. First question is, one main job. Have one main job or many side jobs?
Lots of side jobs.
Not a side jobs. Okay. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty clear. I see in your career. On radio, would you rather have dead air for 1 minute or play the wrong commercial?
Dead air for 1 minute.
That has that happened?
Many times.
Wait, what are there are there any stories that pop up as the ones that you really remember?
How many times when me and Jessica were, like, okay, we think we're off air, and then all of a sudden say, Jet, so who messaged you back? Oh, my God, I messaged you. And then my boss would be like, you guys are still on air. We'd be like,
Wow. But
yeah.
can I say, although that's a that's a no no. It just makes sense. Like also, I mean the vibe of your show and how you two get along.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, yeah, I'm not saying that I expected you guys to be unprofessional, but it's like you guys are legit friends. So those stuff are like if you're just friends on air kasi once your commercial break, parang maga,
Mm-mm.
you're back to your own thing. But okay, anyway. Um
But you know what? Me and Jessica weren't really friends when we started the show.
oh shit, I thought you were gonna say you guys aren't really friends, period. Wow.
No.
That would have
Of course,
broken.
we're the best of friends now. But when
Yeah.
we were like starting the show, he just goes like,
Okay.
okay, here's Jessica, here's Andy. Okay, you guys make a show. We'd be like, hi. So we had to really like make make an effort to
Uh-huh.
have coffee, have lunch, or have merienda
Yeah.
after the show to really get to know each other.
Did it feel weird that it was because friends usually happen organically. It's like, oh, this person I get along pala.
Mhm.
But this one it's like, oh shoot, I'm paid. You kind of paid to be friends. Like was that weird?
It was split. Actually, in the first year, it was a little bit challenging, and
First
then it
year,
started.
okay.
Oh yeah, challenging because of course they would expect you to know when she's gonna pause or what's on her
Mm,
mind. Para you always needed that rapport, diba? But
yes.
imagine we were together every single day, right?
Going through college life, going through boyfriends.
Yeah, yeah.
So
As
we got to know each other.
so it took a year. Are you saying it took a year?
Yeah, it took a lot of time until we
Wow.
really got to be friends.
And you got that. Okay. Then you got that thing on the lock. Okay. Next question. Would you rather host an event or interview an artist?
Host an event.
It's an event. Okay. Like you enjoy the what why is that? Why is that? Why an event rather
I
than
guess I just miss hosting. I haven't
okay.
hosted in a while, in
Yeah.
a huge crowd. So yeah, it's just
Okay.
missing that feeling.
I already asked you this a while ago. Next question because it's favorite thing about radio, but I wanna let's move it back to your days in Magic. Let's go back to like Andy Nine. What is Andy Nine's favorite thing about radio?
Mm, favorite thing about radio is taking control.
Okay, and with the control, I'm really curious about this. Andy Nine. I'm guessing you didn't give yourself this name.
No.
How do you feel like are there people who still like call you Andy Nine? How are you what is your relationship with that nickname?
It was my radio partner who gave me that name.
Uh-huh.
Um, because parang when they would rate people,
Okay, so the rumors are
from
true.
1 to
That's what I
10,
thought the story was.
yeah, so
And I remember
yeah.
Angel saying that she's Angel 10. So anyway, well, when you do you like when you hear that, did you like that nickname?
It was okay. Parang for me, they were saying, oh, it's just a marketing thing. And,
Yeah.
everybody has their name on radio.
Yeah.
Mojo Jojo had his Joe. And then how
Yeah.
about you? It's like, okay, Andy Nine's fine, whatever. And people would always ask, why Andy Nine? I'd be like, it's just my favorite number.
Guys, when if I thought I think, but it can I just say like, even if it I don't it's actually not that great of a story. Like why? Because I was rated. That's how I have my nickname that a lot of people
Diba?
know. Diba? It's kind of buti na lang. I mean, if you were like Andy 7, baka medyo sad pa yon. But um I was thinking like it makes a lot of sense. And Chamba na lang, that's Magic 89.9. And it just
Mhm.
sounds,
It
diba?
sounded nice, diba?
It sounded 9, diba? Okay,
Mm.
anyway, um so ask about the favorite thing about radio. Okay, what is the most challenging thing about radio?
Before online politics on radio.
Okay. I wanted to ask this follow-up question. Did you wish if you had the choice that if there was social media or not when you were a DJ, would you want it to be?
Mm, I didn't mind. It
So,
was
so
okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, cool.
yeah.
All right. Most embarrassing on air moment.
A lot. Like, no, no, you know what? I don't remember now.
Was there like you mentioned some mispronunciation? Was there like a very big one?
Gosh, you know what? Because you know what? After you have your first mistake or second or third, it just
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden when you make your fourth and fifth, it's okay.
Yeah. Okay. I respect that. That's how I think that's a healthy way to deal with mistakes. Then just become okay with it. Okay. Last few questions. Name a random top 5 mother moment. Because again, I can't say name the best mother moment, and it can't be about
Mhm.
just one other, but a random top 5 moment so that there's no pressure for you to be like, which is moment better than the other one. What's
Mm-mm.
a random top 5 mother moment?
Do you want long or short?
Oh, any. I want whatever is true to your heart.
Um, okay, let's just say like for Ollie and for Amelia. Okay, so recently
There you go.
Amelia has been, very talkative. She's learning how to talk. And every time she's happy or when she hugs you and she likes what she's doing, she says, I love you.
Is that that's a new thing?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, and parang last night, she goes like, Mom, I'll hug you. I'll go like, okay. And then she goes like, I love you. And she says it all the time. And it's so sarap to hear. Like, kanina lang, like, so let's play. And then she'll hug me. And then she goes like, I love you. Parang, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
I
there's no
get it.
specific moment, but when she says it. And then for Ollie naman, of course, she's very malambing and she's very vocal about how she feels. But me and Ollie have kind of been through a lot also because we fight a lot. We argue a lot. And every time, like, kunyari, I make mistakes too. Sometimes I scream, or sometimes, you're mainat ulo and you're masungit. And then she'd always come to me and then she'd always be like, Mom, remember, you always say we should be better. And,
wow, coming from your daughter na tatauhan ka rin. O nga, no? Tama ka.
Be like, oh nga, no? I was like, okay, I got corrected there. Sorry. And then I always explain. I said, parang I'm just very emotional. And sometimes parang, especially if you're a girl, you have to understand these things. Basta, it's long. She thinks like a teenager.
All right. It's true, no? Like kids have, like there's such a pure, ano pa eh, what's it called? Di pa sila na poison ng world masyado. No? It's such a pure like source of just what humans are and their wisdom and the simplicity of life through their eyes. Wow.
I know, parang for them saying, Mom, right? You should be better. In my head, I was like, I wish that was so simple, but there were so many thoughts in your head already. But to just be like, no, just be better. Just choose to be better. Like,
yeah. It's simple, but at the same time, it's not simple. Wait. Again, another subconscious thought entered my mind. You had a video and you talked about rodding.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is rodding?
Actually, it came from my mom, and a lot of so my mom did it.
What's a rod? Like, what is this, metal? Is it what is?
No, grabe.
Sorry, when I think of rod, I think of yung sa construction, yung
mahaba
na metal.
When you want to like scrub your feet, right?
Sorry, I don't. I use my hands lang when I think of that.
So how do I explain it? Like a spatula.
Yes.
A wooden spatula.
Okay.
It's something like that.
Okay. It's wood. It's made out of wood. This rod.
It's wood. Yeah.
Okay. And do you hit them with the hand? Like what?
I hit them in the butt.
Okay. So it's pago, basically.
It's pago. It's pago. Yeah.
You have that. You have a purchase.
Just have because they. Yeah, I think you can buy it, or you can just use any like wooden spoon. They said wooden is much better than even than a belt. Or
how about plastic?
Actually, never tried.
You're probably the first mom I've heard in a while who says that they still do that practice. I was raised in a spanking household, and I wanted to let you know, my mom. You said that when you first did it, you cried. My mom also cried. So it's as bad. If my dad's the one who's gonna pago, or if my mom's the one who's gonna pago, my dad, he's a guy, so he's gonna pago hard. With my mom, it's not that hard. She's gonna cry, and then we're gonna talk for a long time. So for me, it's like they're both pretty hassle. Like, but then I want to ask, like, why do you still continue that practice?
Because I guess it worked for us.
It worked for you. Okay.
Yeah, it worked for me. It taught me what good and bad was. It taught me not to do those things again. And that's why I always tell other moms, I say, you know what, you have to set rules in your house. Yeah. Diba? Parang, we learn from our parents and we absorb and, we bring into our lives what we want our children to learn as well. So for me, parang, I grew up with palo. It worked for me. Maybe I have some adjustments, that I do, but it works.
Yeah. Wow. I totally agree with you, but it's only recently then when so for me, I'm kind of like, bahala si wife. Like, kung gusto ni, like, whoever wife is, bahala siya. If she believes palo works, then game. If she thinks it doesn't, edi wag. Kasi it worked for me, but at the same time, it's hard for me to tell that I'm who I am because of that. Like, I think I still would
Yeah.
have turned out fine if that wasn't, I think so. I
Well,
did not
think
like it.
it's more than just the palo. It was the fear of getting palo.
Yeah.
Diba? So sometimes I'd be like, if you do this, if because parang there was one time Olivia lied to me and I caught her lying, and
Ooh.
parang for me, like, you should never lie to me about like breaking like the glass.
Yeah.
So so when she got that palo because she lied, she never lied again.
Yeah.
And up to now, when I would do a white lie and say I'm not going out, and then later I go out, she'd be like, "Mom, you're
Palo
lying."
kita. Okay.
Dad.
Okay.
Palo si mama.
Okay.
No, but at least parang she understands, and I know that she'll she'll learn from this.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not sorry. I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I had that same I had that same thought then growing up. But there's another thought that was like, wait a minute. Because I do still have a fear of failure. I think it's a normal big school thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't want to make mistakes. You don't want to But I think I'm hoping that I embraced failure more as I was growing up. I don't know if the pago, kasi it's not the pago, but it's the fear of getting slapped. So it could, I don't know if it translated to other things in life that maybe subconsciously I'll get, if I fail in school, there's another version of the pago coming. So that's just my voice. My head also has probably 2 radio stations that are playing at the same time naman.
I think
always.
I guess to explain a little better, parang because I always tell my kids, especially like when they don't get what they want, or maybe they're not first in the whatever in school or what, or Amelia gets the first toy and Ollie doesn't. Parang I have to explain that like you have to understand you won't always be the best, diba? That it's okay to fail, and if you fail, then you just try again and it will make you better.
Mm-hmm.
But when palo comes in, it's more of doing what's right and what's wrong. It's not teaching you that failure is not accepted. It's not teaching you that. It's just teaching you, not to lie, not to steal, not to kill anyone.
Yeah.
The basics of life. I mean, I'm not gonna make her palo because she failed her math test.
Yeah. I hope naman parents don't do that. But yeah, that just takes a lot of work. It just takes lots of work. Like, if you are going to enter that practice of making pago, you need to make sure that you really put in the R's of like conversations, explanation.
You have to understand, I don't make her palo all the time.
Yeah. Okay, I don't think it's a weekly daily thing.
I made her palo like 3 times in her 6 years of being alive.
It's okay. Yeah, it's the milestone. It's only for the milestone mistakes that you make, which I think, those are still. I wish I remember what I. Yeah, but the mistake, the milestone mistakes, which are, I would say, are important to everyone's childhood. Okay. Last 2 questions. Okay, this one, I know I was joking in the first question, but I'm not joking here. Your 2 daughters come up to you. They say, "Mommy, who's your favorite?" What do you say?
Me.
Fair enough.
No, I'd say your dad.
Wow. Okay, that's something. Yeah, that's something my mom would. That's kind of something like my mom would say. Me, joke about it, then say my dad. Okay, all right. Very last question. What is, if let's say you guested on one of your shows? Let's say today, 2021, Andy was a guest in a radio show with your 25-year-old self. What would be your message to her?
Again. So I was a guest on the radio show.
When you were talking to your 25-year-old self.
Okay.
Yes. What would be your, it's really just message to 25-year-old Andy, but I want to make it a little more, ooh, you're in the radio with her. It's the same thing. What's your message?
Gosh. That I feel like that, because at that age, I was afraid of transitioning. I was afraid of, doing something else and figuring out what I was going to do. So I probably tell myself that everything would be okay, not to worry so much and just really like live for now, live at the moment, just enjoy what you're doing right now and just, yeah. I guess that's it.
That's nice. That's a nice message I think we need to hear even up to today. Like it makes a lot of sense when you look at who we were like 10 plus years ago and then compare yourself now and you're like, oh, I should just chill out. I would imagine that the version of you from like 10 years from now would tell you the same thing about it today, but it's still hard to do. No, it's still hard to like
it is
chill out.
And I feel like I think that this pandemic also taught us to slow down and that sometimes you don't have to do so many things. Yeah,
you're right. Okay. And with that, I'd like to thank you very much for your time. I understand you're busy and you got a lot of things to do, but I want to let you know that I really appreciated this. I was really nervous also for having this, and it's been a while. Like ever since Angel was my friend, I was like, I have to guest star, I have to interview Andy one time in my life, but I always wanted to make sure like dapat ready na ako when it happens. Dapat it's a nicer thing. I should have a nicer logo when I start having guests like this. But then I'm happy it happened, and I just want to thank you again and looking forward to hopefully talking to you again soon in the future.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really appreciate, reaching out to me and having the patience.
No, it was fun. I enjoyed.
No, it was fun. It was fun, and it's really different because what maybe I would ask because it's fun to interview people, but it's also fun to ask yourself these things because you'll really also get who you are.
Yeah, I do. And also like you, like being able to witness you reflect on your life kind of makes me in a way reflect on my life also and see like
but you're so young, okay, so don't compare me to you. You're so young.